Welcome to the Accessibility Guide channel. My name is Sean Jordison, and today we're doing episode 9 of making college PDFs accessible. Today we're going to be looking at West Hills College Leemore. And if you haven't already, take a second to hit that like and subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 5,000 subscribers. With that said, let's jump right in. The first thing that I like to do is visit the college's webpage, and then let's use the search feature to simply search for .pdf. And it appears there are no PDF documents on this website. Let's see if we can keep searching. All right, so this time I searched just PDF and I got different results. And I want to look just for Leemore College. And it appears most of the documents that they have on their website have been converted to HTML pages. So I'm actually having a hard time finding a PDF at all. Here we have the academic calendar. Let's see if we have anything here. No. It does appear that there are some PDF downloads on the right-hand side. Let's go ahead and download one of these. Perfect. So we finally found a PDF. Let's go ahead and download it and open it up. Now I've recently reverted my Adobe Acrobat back to the old version. So if it looks a little different than my other videos, that's what's happening here. All right, let's jump right in. The very first thing I like to do is open up the tags panel, and I can determine that the document is somewhat tagged. It is full of P tags. That's a good first step, but not all of the content is actually tagged in, nor is there a document tag in the file. So this appears to be a good candidate document to run through the auto tagger. But since I'm using the old version of Adobe Acrobat, we're going to do it old school. The very first thing I'm going to do is change the top level section tag to a document tag. Select close. And then as we navigate through some of this content, I can see that there are some blank P tag containers. I'm going to select each one of those containers, right click them, and change them to an artifact, and then delete out those P tags. From here, we have some content that could be combined. We have West Hills Community College District Instructional Calendar 2023-2024. I'm going to cut these containers from their parent P tags and place them all under a single P tag. I'm then going to change that P tag to a heading level 1. From here, we're going to change this top level content to heading level 2s. So 2023 summer session will be a heading 2. And then we have some P tags with the content being read from left to right. I don't see a problem with this. It could be entered as a list item, or it could have been entered as a table element. But for now, we're simply going to leave it as is. Let's make sure that we delete out any of our blank containers here. Change tag to artifact, delete the blank P tag. And then we have some more content that could be a heading level 2, which will be the 2023 fall semester. And now each one of these P tags reads all the way across from left to right. Now, I don't love that there are these acronyms in the center of this content. So TH, I know is going to be Thursday, but it's not always read correctly with a screen reader. And so something that we might do instead is place that content into a span tag and update the actual text. For now, I'm going to leave as is, but that would be a workaround to something like, again, this appears that it maybe was in a table at one point. We have a blank container tag that we're going to change to an artifact, delete the blank P tag, and then we have this content in bold that I'm instead going to make a heading level 3. Whoops. And we have a blank P tag, again, that we're going to mark as an artifact, followed by a heading level 2 element. And then we have this content that goes all the way across, which is fine, followed by a couple of, actually several blank P tags. I'm going to hold my control key and select each one of those container elements, right click, and then change tag to artifact. And then we can delete out that content. And it appears that we just have these couple of elements on the bottom that are not currently tagged. So there's a couple different ways we can do this. Let's open up the accessibility button and then select reading order. And we're going to select the content total instructional days 88, and we will mark this a heading level 3. And then let's select the content on the bottom, approved by the Board of Trustees. We'll simply mark that a text paragraph and select close. And we're just validating that it's in the tags panel, which it is. Let's go ahead and run the accessibility checker on this document. Start checking, and it looks like our title failed. Let's go ahead and right click it, select fix, and let's update our metadata. So I'm going to say West Hills Community College District Instructional Calendar 2023-2024 and select OK. Let's run that accessibility checker again, and now it passes the built-in Adobe Acrobat check. Let's launch the pack tool and let's see how this file does for PDF. All right, we have a couple of failures. Let's jump right into the first one, content. I'm going to select the results in detail button with the pack checker and simply expand some of this content. So it's saying text object not tagged, which is strange because I did tag that. But what that tells me is something is happening on the back end that it doesn't like. So I'm going to create a new blank p tag at the bottom of my tags panel. I'm going to select it, and then at the top of the accessibility tags window, there's an option called find, and I'm going to change the drop down menu to unmarked content, and we're going to search the document and select find, and we're going to start tagging some of these paths to begin with, and we'll select close. And let's go ahead and artifact those 3 paths by right-clicking, change tag to artifact. This is kind of strange. So let's open up that pack report again. It's odd to me that it's saying it's not tagged because it is tagged. Text object, how strange. All right, well, I guess let's see what else we can do. We're going to try another method here. I'm going to select this H3 tag, and you know what? I'm actually going to artifact both of that content that I used the reading order tool to create. Let's just artifact it to the page, and then I'm going to keep those 2 tags there, and we're going to tag this content a different way. So I'm going to select the H3 tag. I'm going to use my mouse and select the content that I'm trying to tag, and under the accessibility tags options menu, I'm going to select create tag from selection. And then we're going to do the same with this content on the bottom. I'm going to select the p tag, select all of the contents, go to the options menu in the accessibility tags window, and select create tag from selection. All right, let's save the file. You know what I just realized? It might have been because I didn't save the file before testing it in the pack tool. So I'm a dummy, and that was probably the problem. I'm going to guess that was the problem because a lot of the issues are gone now. Silly Sean. All right, let's open up the results in detail. Don't forget to save your files is the moral of that story. We've got the PDF UA identifier missing. That's pretty easy to fix. We are going to open up the pre-flight menu. Let's see, we're going to go to more tools, and we're going to add print production, select print production, and then pre-flight. This will pull up another window after it's done crashing Adobe Acrobat. I like to select this little wrench icon for single fix, and then I'm going to search for UA, and then right here we've got set PDF UA1 entry, and we'll select fix. Then we can save this file out and select save. Now we can go back and test this file again in the pack checker. And there we go. We have a PDF UA and WCAG compliant document. This was a simple PDF that looked like it was created from Microsoft Word. Because of how basic and simple it was, I would actually give this the accessibility guy score of a 5 out of 10. And what they could have done to make it a little more accessible is to spell out the acronyms of the days of the week, make sure they applied the appropriate metadata, and ensure that all of the content was actually tagged in the file. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you want to find out how I can help you get accessible, check out the link in the description of this video. And as always, I can be your personal accessibility expert. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.